nothing sounds on YouTube, so just bear with me a moment. It's been a while since I've done any proper videos, so I just want to make sure my volume settings are all good. Okay, so everything sounds pretty good. So I suppose first and foremost, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning after I suppose what's been a long absence since I've really done anything, then welcome back. I'm just going to share the link for this stream into the event on the group. So like I was saying, it's kind of been a good while since I've done anything like this, so just bear with me. I have a little bit of a head cold at the moment, so I'll be probably sniffling a little bit throughout that, so hopefully that doesn't annoy you too much. Just a moment there. Do, do, do. Okay, now let's just see if that goes across, and once it does, then yeah, perfect. Okay, so so welcome to the channel. What we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, it'll definitely take some time. Building golf courses does, and I suppose with RCR's real course recreations, is that you have to be like really specific with what you're trying to do. So I suppose capturing and translating all that detail into the game, it does take some time. So it's going to be a series that we'll do over a couple of weeks. I'll release a new video as we progress through. I'm not just going to jump the gun, so I'm going to be building a course throughout the series, and then once we get to the final episode, that will be me polishing off the course. So the episode tonight is all about just getting started, everything you need and everything you need to know, basically. So the first part of this is going to be mainly talking. I'm not going to show a whole pile. We're going to hop into the course designer soon enough, but I suppose I just want to talk through what I use to get all the information, all the distances, elevations, planting, everything that I use to help me create the courses that I do. So I like to keep things simple. I don't like to get bogged down with having computer screens or laptop screens open over here while I'm trying to do something on a PlayStation. I like it nice and simple, easy to translate, and something that just really works for me. Now, not everyone does the same way I do. Some people go way further in, and like I said, bring up Google Earth on their laptops and all their measurements and doing everything like that. And you know what? Fair play to them. It works for them. Go ahead. But for me personally, that would wreck my head. So I keep it to my phone, nice and easy. And the handy thing is as well is that if you're ever looking for information, stuff like that, you always have your phone on you, so it's easy to save all that. So the app that I use is 18 Birdies. I think it's an absolutely fantastic app. It's getting better and better as the weeks go on. More and more updated courses on it, better quality pictures, distances, elevations. It really covers it all. So the 18 Birdies app is what I use. You can get that on the Google Play Store, or you can download it from your Apple App Store. I think that's what it's called now. It's been a while since I've had an iPhone. But that's the app to go for. It pretty much has nearly every course you could think of on there, and it'll have information, all your course information. So it's essentially your stroke saver on the go. But the really handy point with it is you can pinpoint all different areas within the course, distances from the tee to that bunker, and then from that bunker onto the green, all that kind of jazz. So the app you need to download is called 18 Birdies. That's 1-8 and then birdies, and that will cover that. And the other thing that's really good with it is that by having those really good aerial pictures is that when it comes to planting, so putting your trees on the course, bushes, rivers, bunkers, everything, you get a really, really good view um, from above. It helps you, I suppose, get your course planted properly. Proximity to the course allows, I suppose, have a really natural um, looking course and kind of matches up with how it plays in real life. So that's really, really handy to have. And now there are some courses out there that are a little bit more difficult. For example, Royal County Down, the aerial images weren't that great, they weren't that clear, so it took a hell of a lot longer to build that one. But you know, that's one course out of I think the 10 that I've built that I've actually had that issue with. So it's not a huge thing, but it does happen. Another great place to get some information for your course is to go onto the actual course website. The course website, I suppose, depending on the club itself, some of them may have actually invested in flyovers for their course, which is huge. I mean, it's really, really big to have that, because again, it's just free access into how the whole looks, planting, making sure that you're getting your sculpting correct. So the raises and the fairways, drops off, every twist and turn, you can get a look at all of that. So as long as the course website has that, use it, absolutely use it. Courses will always have a photo gallery on their website. I've yet to come across a course that didn't have an extensive gallery of images throughout the course, which is just, it's helped me so much, especially when I might have played a course but I'm not sure about it. I mean, I've never looked at it from that angle or anything like that. So you know, when you play a course or when you watch it on TV, you're just seeing that kind of one angle as the player sees it, kind of thing. You're not seeing it as the spectator sees it. So it's really, really good to have those images and flyovers and stuff like that. Like I said, not every course has it, but most do. The other side of it as well is that maybe the course you're building hosted a PGA Tour event, maybe a European Tour event, or something like that. So basically, it was a televised event. And if there is, I mean, do your research, go onto YouTube, go onto PGA Tour website, European Tour website. You're going to come across something, some information, some videos, anything that can give you, again, just more and more information to help you bring that course to life. So like for example, when I was doing Killeen Castle, the Ladies Irish Open was on there, the Solheim Cup was on there, so that was really, really handy to have, especially when it came to the greens, because I didn't have all the information I wanted for those greens. But then being able to go back in and watch those through, I was able to see, well, one, I was able to see where all the pin positions were, so I could get an accurate idea of where I wanted those to go. And then I was able to see how the ball was moving on the greens, what lines they were taking, and how the undulations were actually affecting that. So that was really, really handy to get a good grasp of how the greens actually were. Another good thing to search YouTube for is course vlogs. So an awful lot of YouTubers out there, Rick Shields, Peter Finch, Mark Crossfield, Your Golf Travel. There's loads of them out there, and they go around. I suppose those are mainly UK and Irish based, but they go around to all those courses. Plenty of courses are in the kind of GB in Ireland, and they do reviews. They check them out. They're quite extensive, so you get an awful lot of detail on that. So if there isn't that, televised content, you might find it there too, which is really, really, really handy. And I think it's just been beneficial. A couple of courses I've used it for: RCR. I use stuff like that for Druids Glen, Ballybunion, Old Head. So I mean, like, those have been massive to help me bring my courses to life. And it's not huge in terms of the building of the course and the mapping out the course and everything, but just getting the undulations, getting the surroundings of the course, and getting the real feel is where all those come into play. So that's pretty much it for the talking part. We're actually just going to go in and set up the course. So this is how I would go ahead and and start my project. So obviously first off we go in, be a brand new course. Excuse me, sorry. So we'll just wait for this to load up. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be, like, everyone's going to have a different kind of project they want to do. Some people want to build their local course, or a course that, you know, they might have played that's relatively nearby. Then there'll be like a big time course, or maybe a course they've just seen on TV. And I suppose all those things kind of cover that. Like, if it's a local course, it should be so easy for you. I mean, you should be able to do it almost from memory with the help of, you know, that app and stuff like that. Because if it's your local course, you would have played it lots and lots. A televised one, if you haven't played it, is always that bit more difficult because it's just trying to get the content for it. But Google, YouTube, you know, those are really your saving grace there with that. So I suppose the course designer, the first look, the first thing it asks you to do is to name it. Now, I have a strict rule for me personally that when I'm creating a course, that I don't give it the name that I'm going to give it when I'm publishing it. And with RCRs, it's pretty obvious what you're going to name it. If you were doing Pebble Beach, you're not going to call it, I don't know, nearly swore there. You're not going to call it something random, like you're going to call it Pebble Beach. That's what I'm trying to say. So this one that I'm actually building right now is going to be the golf club at Dove Mountain. It's where the World Golf Match Play was held a couple of years ago. It's out there in Arizona. So that's what it's going to be called, but I'm not going to call it that. I'm just going to initial it, so COS. This is just, if you ever come across courses with just COS and random numbers on it, that's just my initials and today's date. So today's date is, I think it's 24th. So 2411. If you're in the States, then it's probably 1124 for you. But and just plain and simple. What I then go and do, I suppose the theme I need to pick up first. So it's going to be there's a theme up in Arizona. So that's pretty straightforward. If you yourself are not sure which theme to pick, for example, if it's a UK course, an Irish course, you know, stuff like that, I think if you stick with the countryside theme to start with, and just see how that fits the course, go ahead and start with the countryside theme. You can always chop and change, absolutely, but I think it's a pretty standard one to go with, and it's very easy to. You can build multiple different types of courses within there. I've built links courses on it, so again, it's pretty versatile. So the next thing I go and do is I work off a blank canvas. So you'll see there on the screen, I think there's 18 holes down there. There's bunkers, there's rough, there's everything. I'm not interested in that. I want to start from absolute scratch because I have no need for any of it basically. So all the hills, trees, plants, grass, rocks, gone straight away. Because what's going to end up happening is if you don't remove it, they're just going to be in the way, and you're going to have to go ahead and remove them later on. So you might as well do it now. Then the layout, because the designer has already set up an auto-gen course for you, you don't want to be dealing with that, and it's just 10 times easier to go ahead and delete it all beforehand, rather than having to go into the course itself and try and delete them all off one by one. So there you go. There, it's pretty much a blank canvas now. And we're going to hit continue. So I don't just stop there with the blank canvas, and the reason for that again is just to do with getting the course correct, bringing it to life as it is. And what I do there is I basically flatten the whole course out, because you can see there it's still got some undulations, it's still got some water there, and I want to get completely rid of that. So what I do is I just completely flatten it out and work from there. So easiest way to go is if you just press the R1 button over to edit, hit sculpt land, landscape flatten is the one you want, and I think the best one is to go with the one that has the sharpest edge, so that's square there. It's on page 5, and you just want to make that as big as you possibly can using the up button on the directional pad. Now, I suppose, just while we're here and we're talking about the water that was still there. So each template has a water table on it. It's automatic. It's programmed into every single theme. They're all going to have it. So basically, when you drop things below a certain level, all that water appears. Bring it up above a certain level, and it all disappears basically. So when it comes to courses, it's hard to know straight off the bat what's going to be your high point and low point of the course. For example, I think it was RCR had a gap of, I think it was 200 feet between the highest point and the lowest point on that golf course. So that was a learning curve for me in terms of trying to cap or bring that to life without hitting on the water table. Another one again was Old Head. I think had to go 300, maybe 350, 400 feet above the water level just to be able to create the cliffs. So stuff like that you have to think about. And for me, it took making that mistake to realize what to do. So what I'm going to do here, um, this kind of course, I can't imagine there's any water out in the middle of that desert. But we're still going to raise it up anyway. It is a course that's kind of situated up in the hills, so we're going to bring that up maybe about 200 feet. So you can see there now that it's pretty flat. I mean, can't get really flatter than that. So what I want to do next then is to make the all the areas around it just as flat. So what you want to do is going to go straight back in. You can choose that same brush. I'm going to make it nice and big again. And if you create an overlap, so you see the way that blue line is overlapping on the part that's already flat, it means that it's using that 200 feet as the level to bring the rest of it up to. I hope that makes sense. That was really, really bad explaining, but I hope that does actually make sense to you. And we're going to do the same. Just keep making sure that we have that overlap on what we've already raised up, and then it just brings everything up to that level. Oh, it's not the greatest of themes to be showing this in because it's so bright and the blue lines are so faint. So you can see there I've overstretched. That brings it down. Let's keep it there. So yeah. So now we've pretty much got a completely blank canvas. It's completely flat. We're up 200 feet above the water level. Now the only other thing to really make sure at this point is that the course is actually going to fit the plot. And what I mean by that is, for example, Wentworth pretty much goes out in one direction and comes back in the same direction. So it's pretty much, it follows a line that almost kind of went like this, like there, and then it went all the way back around. The problem was there was a couple of holes that I couldn't fit up in the top part of the plot, so I had to build them elsewhere. So just make sure that you've got enough yardage between, or you've enough yardage basically to fit the course in. So easiest way to know is just measure it. So it's just short of 2,200 yards. It's the same this way. So as long as your course at its widest point is shorter than that, you're laughing. Okay, so that's pretty much it for getting the course set up, for getting everything ready, everything you need. That's pretty much what I do. I don't like to overcomplicate it. I like to keep that nice and simple. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually just move on to getting the course started essentially. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hop into the actual app itself. So if you just bear with me a few moments, I'm gonna hop in there and okay. So I've got the app pulled up here. just going to find the first hole there now in a moment. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, just because the app is giving me a little bit of an issue there, I have to go and update it. It's just going to take a few moments. So I'm going to end the first part here. I'm going to continue it on in another stream just in about 5 minutes once this thing decides to do its update. Okay. So thanks for tuning in for part 1. Part 2 will be on the way very, very soon.